Guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Florence. I'm a Cameroonian YouTuber based in Japan. Today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys some common questions Japanese people ask foreigners. If you're planning to come to Japan, you should be ready to answer all these questions every day. Like every other day, you get to answer this question. Some of the questions are interesting, while others are just annoying. You should be expecting once you come to Japan is, what is your name? This is a very common question Japanese people will always ask you as a foreigner once they meet you. It's not as if you're asking you this question because they want to get to know you better or they want to retain your name. They want to know you, so some way, if they see you some way, they can address you. It is just a culture to them to always ask people their name. What is your name? So they can address you, how they can address you, something like that. Where are you from? Japanese people will always ask you where you're coming from. They want to know your country. Some people don't even know your country. So like when you tell them I'm from Cameroon, where is Cameroon? And they'll be asking you, you have to tell them Africa. Sometimes they will ask you, is Cameroon in Africa, or where is Africa? So those are some of the things, the questions I get to answer every day. Like I have to show them, tell them, explain myself to them like every other day. Okay, the third question they'll be asking you is, what do you do? Now, this question, they're asking you the type of job you do, what you do for a living. Yes, the reason why they are asking you, what do you do? It's because they want to address you properly. So they don't want to address you wrongly. So that is why they'll always ask your job. And in as much as they're asking you this question, what you do in Japan, they'll equally ask you what you were doing back home before you came to Japan. So be ready to answer these questions when you are coming to Japan or once you get to Japan. The fourth question they'll be asking you is, why did you come to Japan? This is a question like everyone that is in Japan must have answered this question. Like if you are planning to come to Japan, be ready to tell Japanese people why you came to Japan. If you're going for a job interview, be ready to answer this question, why did you come to Japan? So there must be something very important. There must be something that brought you to Japan, and you should be able to tell them why you came to Japan. Go to the next question. The next question is, how old are you? Be ready to answer this question once you come to Japan. They will always ask you, how old are you? And don't be surprised that they will never tell you their age. Yes, it is common. Japanese people want to know your age. They want to know how old you are, but they will never tell you how old they are. Next question they'll be asking you is, can you use chopstick? Chopstick is the Japanese what the Japanese people used to eat. So they'll be asking you this question, can you use? And the next question they'll be asking you is, do you like Japanese food? Yes, always expect these questions. Are you married? Yes, Japanese people want to know your marital status so they can better communicate with you and address you as well. So they'll always ask you, are you married? So these questions are very common. They are going to ask you is, do you have a boyfriend? If you tell them you're not married, be ready to answer this one. Do you have a boyfriend? And if you say no, they'll ask you why. So these are normal common questions Japanese people like to just find out about you. Do you have a boyfriend? And if you say no, and if you tell them yes, I do, they will ask you again, is he from your country or is he a Japanese? They want to know. Like sometimes I get annoyed when they ask me these questions, like keep asking, keep asking, keep asking. Then when you once you tell them a no, they will ask you why. And if you say yes, they will ask you another question. So sometimes for me, it's annoying. Honestly, is this your first time coming to Japan? Yes, they will always ask you this question. Have you ever traveled abroad before? In job interviews, be ready to answer these questions. Even when you're going for job interviews, they'll be asking you these questions. Have you ever traveled abroad before? Is this your first time coming to Japan? So always expect this question. So guys, another question which I will be calling it, saying is the last question is, can you speak Japanese? They will always ask you these questions. Be ready to answer these questions, okay? They'll always ask you if you can speak Japanese. But if you cannot speak Japanese, what you should tell them is, I can't speak Japanese very well, but I can speak little Japanese. It's okay. But if you don't speak Japanese, it's fine. Just tell them, I can't speak Japanese. It's okay. I'm learning Japanese, or I love to speak Japanese. So that is it. So those are some of the common questions you should be expecting when you come to Japan. They will always ask you this question, and you should be ready to answer this question. And the funniest thing about the question, if you ask them, they are never going to answer they are never going to answer you. You will never get a response from them. I don't know about other people in other countries. If you're in Japan and you have other questions, commonly asked questions, that they do ask you your everyday life, please let me know on the comment section below. I could not just remember everything because these questions are just too many. Like every other day has its own question. You meet people every day and they ask funny questions, they ask terrible questions.